Hi and welcome to the latest of my macrame tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to make this simple Easter egg decoration. We're just going to be using the spiral knot, which is the half square knot, and then I'm going to show you how we can use a ribbon maker to make a ribbon just to finish off the decoration and make it like a bit more Eastery. Now these look lovely just hung on an Easter tree if that's what you have, or you could put them together to make them a garland. You could make them various sizes. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to show you how to do the basic design and then you can adapt it to your needs. So what I have got today is I've got my cork board with my pins, as I usually do. The cord I'm going to use today is the Bobony 3mm braided cord, and again you can use a single twist cord, you can use a 3-ply cord. It's entirely up to you, whatever you've got. I've just gone with this because I like the nice, like the dusty pink colour. I've also got a nice sharp pair of scissors. If you've seen my videos before, you will see that I use the Fiskars razor scissors. They just give a brilliant cut. I've got some Easter themed ribbon, which is what I'm going to use for my bow at the top. And I've got a bow maker. If you've got one of these are great for making sure that your bows are equal and symmetrical. If you haven't though, it's not an issue. You can just make a regular bow. Okay, so if you grab everything you need, grab yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and we'll get going. Okay, so I have cut myself two lengths, so two continuous lengths of 4.5 meters. Okay, if you want a larger egg, just cut yourself larger lengths. If you want a smaller egg, then just cut yourself a shorter length. Okay, but I've got here, quite long to be when you begin, I've got two lengths, so that's one lot of 4.5 meters there, and then my other lot is here. And what I do is, to make sure that I'm working with equal length cords, make the ends meet, and then I'm going to work all the way to the other end, and I should find the loop, which is like the halfway point. Okay, and then we know we're working with equal length cords. Okay, so I've got one of my cords. I'm going to make a loop at the top because that's going to be my hanging loop for my egg. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin that down. Now again, if you're using a clipboard, then that's absolutely fine. But just for today, I'm using the cork board. Right, so that's going to be my hanging loop. And just underneath this pin here is where I'm going to start. So what I'm going to do is, with my second 4.5 meter cord, okay, so I've got my loop, which is my center point, and that is going to go underneath that first cord that I've put. Okay, now at the moment, obviously the cords are quite long. I'm just going to use another pin to pin that securely because I don't want it to move. Once we attach our first cords, it'll be fine. Okay, so I've got one cord behind the two holding cords. One's out to the left and one's out to the right. Okay, now if you have followed my tutorials before, you will have seen that I find the best way of teaching is to come up with like little sayings or phrases so that you remember the rhythm that you get into. So you may have heard me say about my L loop, which this is why, because with my left hand cord, I'm going to make an L. Okay, some people see it as a number 4, but I just call it my L loop. So there's my L, and this is going over the 2 holding cords. And then with the right hand cord, it's got to go over the top of that L cord. This is important because otherwise it won't attach to the holding cords. So you're going over, then underneath those 2 holding cords, and then from the back up and through that L loop. Okay, and that, when we pull it to the top, okay, and again, because this is the first one, we'll just be able to slide it up in a minute. There we go. All right, that is our first half square knot. And to get the spiral, we're going to do that continuously. We're only going to do the L. If you wanted a flat egg, and you've seen my tutorials previously, we could do the L and then the P to get a flat square knot. But for this, I quite like the spiral effect, so that's what I'm going to show you in this tutorial. If you'd like me to do one with a square knot, then please just leave a comment and I'll do that for you. But we're just going to repeat that over and over again. All right, now you'll see that that just slid down then. All right, so that's the first one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle that back up there because I don't want those to move now. So I'm just going to use one of those pins to pin that there now. Okay. Right, so I'm going to make my L again, and then I'm going over, under, up and through that L loop. So if you remember, L, over, under, up and through, and then you repeat the same. L, over, under, up and through. Okay, and after you've done a few of these, what will happen is that the row of square knots that or half square knots that you're making, it will begin to twist on itself. Now, if it twists on itself, which it is going to do, just let it go freely, okay? And it will be that eventually these cords swap over, but don't let that confuse you, because this L cord is always going to be on the left. Even though the cords have swapped, the cords are still always the same position. So if you're working from the left, it's your L cord. Just hold my thumb there. Okay, and you can see how that's twisting. So what you need to do now is continue a row of these half square knots, depending on how big you want your egg, and I will see you in a second. Okay, so I've done a length of approximately 25 centimetres just for the size of the egg that I'm going to make. And then all we're going to do is, you've got the 4 cords left. You probably have longer cords, but you can just trim them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just tie them to that loop, okay? So I'm just going to do like a normal overhand knot, okay? And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to make the bow to neaten up the top of the egg, okay? Okay, so I've got my bow maker, I've got my ribbon. I'm keeping it attached to the reel at the moment so we don't waste any and cut too much. Okay, I'm going to leave probably about 5 centimetres and then go through that first gap there. I'm going to go through, not the end one, but the second like prong, go round the back and make sure I'm doing the same on the other side. Okay, So now I'm going to cut my ribbon here. I'm going to push that through there. Okay, the trick is holding it all together. And then I'm going to come from behind through that centre prong, then lay it down so you're flat. Tie those two together, and there you've got your bow. Okay, so then all you need to do is just slide it off. You can wiggle it to make sure that you've got sort of like the best view, if you like. All right, make it tighter if you need to. And then all you're going to do is, okay, you're going to get your egg, and then you can just, with a bit of glue, I'm just going to wiggle that bit so I can see the rabbit at the front. Okay, that's just where I tied it, and the ribbon's sort of like gone to the other side. You can spend a while just sort of like messing with these, so it's just how you want it. And then you can get a blob of glue, glue it to the top of your egg, and there you have a simple Easter egg with macrame. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please hit like, subscribe, make sure the notification button's on, and you'll keep up to date with all my tutorials. And I look forward to seeing you for the next one. Okay, thank you, bye.